What's up guys, my name is Wilou, and in this video I'm gonna show you how you can create a liquid drum and bass track. What's liquid drum and bass? Well, it's basically just a smoother, more melodic and softer version of drum and bass. It could sound like this. Or this. Or like the track we will be making today, which sounds like this.
You're not there. You're not there. You're not there.
So before jumping right into Ableton, I just want to quickly outline the key elements of this track. For the drums, we start with the kick and the snare, which play this very classic drum and bass rhythm. We then add other elements like the hi-hats, rides, and fast shaker top loops. Now for our vocals, we want to add some vocal chops and different layers of our main vocal. Just add a piano for the chords and the melody. As well as a bass to get this.
You're not there.
Let's head over to Ableton now and get into the details of this track. So here we are in Ableton. You've already heard some of the elements, but let's now have a deeper look at all the individual elements. So as with most of my tracks, I like to start with a foundation, maybe a chord progression or a vocal like I did here. So I found this sample here on Splice.
You love it when I'm there. You love it when I care. Still I never really see you.
I then continued to add an EQ, some compression.
You love it when I'm there.
Some de-essing and a reverb.
You love it when I'm there. You love it when I care.
And this echo effect here, which is going to get automated later on. Now that I had this vocal going, I added this piano. And with those two key elements, I started to write an intro to the song, which sounds like this. By the way, I've just created a Discord server, so if you want to hang out with me or some fellow producers, be sure to check it out. Links in the video description.
You love it when I'm there.
What's happening here is that I just took the piano from before, added a lot of reverb. It sounds like this. I then added this crystallizer plugin, which delays and reverses the signal. And rendered it out here, together with some reverb, just to add these background ambient sounds which you can hear together with the melody. And together with the piano chords from before, this is the whole intro. So after the intro, the verse starts, where also the vocal is playing. And one thing that I did here was that I continuously added layers to the vocal. So we start off by just having this one main layer.
You love it when I'm there.
And then I'm adding this vocoder layer here.
Oh, you're not really there. and honestly I'm scared.
And later on, I'm even adding this reverb layer. And in the context of the whole song, this creates a very nice progression towards the drop. As far as chords go, there's just this piano, and then I'm also adding these mellow chords just before the drop. And together with these two rises here, this is basically the whole verse.
You love it when I'm there, you love it when I care. Still I never really see you, I'm forming all around you. Well, you're not really there, and honestly I'm scared, 'cause I didn't really mean to say that I love you, when you're not there.
The drop starts off with these drums here. So just a kick and a snare and these hi-hats, where I'm constantly changing the velocity to make it more interesting. And I'm also automating the balance a little bit so that the hi-hats are being panned to the left and to the right. As the drop progresses, I'm also adding these rides on the offbeat. And this shaker loop on top. A little variation to the drum and snare pattern is that I'm adding this little snare fill every 4 bars. The vocals in the drop consist out of the 3 layers I've just shown you: the main layer, the vocoder layer, and the reverb layer. And then I've also added this little vocal chop thing here. Without any effects, it would sound like this. And it's just a snippet of the main vocal. So I added a lot of reverb, like 100%. Together with this volume shaper curve. To get this stuttery effect, I boosted the width a little bit. And I'm automating the gain so that it gradually gets louder. Together with the other layers, it sounds like this.
You're not there. No, you're not there. No.
And on the group bus, I'm just adding some parallel compression, which just glues everything together a little bit.
You're not there. You're not there. No.
And sidechain. As far as chords go, there's still the piano from the verse. And then I've got these plucky chords here with an 8th note arpeggiator. And they just add some more texture and rhythm to the chords. The bass is also pretty simple, so we've got this sub layer here, which is just a sine wave. And then there's this reed space, which is really iconic for drum and bass. And a reed space is basically just multiple saw waves, which are then being detuned and high cut. And then you get this really thick sound, which usually doesn't have a very consistent low end. So that's why I'm adding this sub to create a more coherent bass overall. On the reed space, I added some more saturation and 2 EQs to really get rid of these low end frequencies. On the reed space here, I've also added these little pitch bends. Just to add some variation, I think it sounds really cool. Also here. On the bass group, I then added this EQ here, which is boosting the low end a little bit and cutting it at the same time. I glued the whole signal together with this compressor. And I'm also sidechaining the bass to the kick, as well as all the other elements like the lead, the chords, and the vocals. So these were basically all the elements of the first part of the drop. And the second one is pretty similar. It's just different in that I'm adding this piano lead. It's the same piano as in the intro, just the processing is a little bit different. So we've got a lot of reverb here, but we've also got this echo here. And you can already hear there is this little stutter effect on the group bus of this lead. And it's just there to add some tension at the tail of the sound. So I'm always automating it at the end, basically to the reverb and the delay of the lead sound. So this is one part of the lead, and then there's this other part, which are these reversed reverb shots. And the way I did this was by just adding a ton of reverb, like 100%. I think I used this one here, to the lead. And then I just cut out all of the notes here and render out just this note and reverse it. And I do this with different notes, like this note, for example, and then also for this note. And the last layer in this piano lead group here is this one. And it's the same thing that I did before with the crystallizer, just with this layer now, with this piano lead layer. So I just added a crystallizer, which again delays the vocal and does some weird reversing and stuff. And then I just added some more reverb and some more delay to it to create this background ambient sound. And I'm also slowly introducing the piano lead here so that it's not completely new in the second part of the drop. Another thing that's changing in the drop here is that the vocal isn't playing as often as before. You can already see it just graphically here, but I am instead adding an echo to the sound here. So it sounds like this.
When you're not there.
Just to fill out these spaces in between, this vocal chop I'm still keeping, so I'm just cutting out these middle sections of the vocal. Why am I doing this? Well, because we've got the piano lead now playing and I don't want the vocals and the melody to clash. For the drums, I added one more layer, which is this noise operator. And it's just this white noise here. But I added this arpeggiator to give it some rhythm. And I'm automating the rate so that sometimes it plays a little bit faster. This sound shifter is just pitching the whole sound a little bit up, because I thought it would fit better in the mix. And that's basically everything that's different from the first part of the drop. The effects I've added to the drop are just this crash here, together with this downlifter, and these two rises again from the build-up. And these effects just act as a transition from the first part of the drop to the second part of the drop. Another thing regarding transitions is that I sometimes cut out all of the top end of the drums and just let the kick play for the first beat, like this. So this happens at the beginning of the second part of the drop and also after 8 bars in the first part of the drop. And I think that's really just a very clean way of adding new elements, as it creates this very heavy contrast. On the first beat, you just have the kick, and then all the other elements start playing. And together with the bass, this little technique can add a lot of movement to a track. And that's basically the whole song. So let's have a listen to the full track now.
You love it when I'm there, you love it when I care. Still I never really see you, I'm forming all around you. Well, you're not really there, and honestly I'm scared, 'cause I didn't really mean to say that I love you when you're not there.
And that's it again for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, it would help me a lot if you'd like or subscribe the video. And don't forget to check out the Discord channel in the video description below. And that's it from my side. Bye bye.